how to create a square design such as this in Photoshop, PC or Mac. Key thing is gradients, but you could use an image, you could use text, anything can be used using this approach. But I'm going to use a gradient, so go over to the gradient tool, select a gradient and apply in normal blending mode or difference, etc. and apply. Now you could of course use any of the gradients. I'm just going to go with this one. So once you've created your gradient design, what you can now do is you can duplicate the layer. So just go over here to the layers panel or go to the layer menu and duplicate. That's just as easy. So duplicate layer, click OK. So now you've got two layers, you can resize it. So go over here to the move tool and show transform controls. As long as you've got that on, you can see the bounding box and you can resize it. And I'm just going to make it fairly small, about there. Just going to go for that. But you can vary it. The end result, of course, will depend on the size you create. You could, of course, rotate it, apply other transforms, and press return. Then you go to the filters. So filter menu, and then down to distort and wave. So select that. Number of generators. I would suggest go with one. You could push it up to 2 or 3. The more you go, the more complex the design gets. I think it becomes a bit messy. You can change the wavelength, reduce it down, and you can see you get more of the squares. Unfortunately, there's no preview, but there's a preview here. So you can set the wavelength fairly low, and you get more of those squares or not. And also amplitude. And you can resize that, and you can see as you increase it slightly too great, the amplitude, you get obviously that result, which is not so great. Just reduce it down. So about 28, 20. But the key thing here is square for the type. You could go for sine, and the result is that. Triangle, result is that. But I'm going to go with square. I want squares in this. So just again, just get it to a certain point. You think, you know what, that's exactly what I want. You can randomize. You can just try those, click that, and you get a variety of variations that you can use. Repeat edge pixels and click OK. And you've got that. Now what you can do is you can actually apply it again. So go to filter and again just go down to distort and wave, and you can see you can create other variations. So you could get this type of result, another sort of square design, again using that gradient. You might not want that. If you don't want that, you can always undo. Just simply edit and undo wave. So you've got this now. What you can then do to give it some sort of depth, simply go to the layers panel, and down the bottom here, you've got here, you go just here to effects, click there, and you've got an option for drop shadow. You could, of course, add bevel, etc., or stroke as well. Also, what you can do, go to layer, and you've got the option here, layer style and drop shadow. There's a couple of ways of doing this. And you can see then, you've got multiply, you can reduce it down to make it sort of more blurry there. Maybe have it at 50, 59. Also direction, you can move it that way. I think it's a good idea to have it at 20, spread 5, and size about 40. You don't want it going too far off, it becomes just too blurry. You just want to be able to see the actual shadow. And you can change that past it. All those settings you can tweak as required. Then click OK. Well, now what you can do, it's a layer. You can duplicate that layer. So hold down the Alt Option key and duplicate. Or use again layer and duplicate if you want to use that. And then just repeat that multiple times. Now what you can also do is you can resize it. So you might think, you know what, I've got that. Now what I can do, hold down the Alt Option key and duplicate it, and now resize that design. Just use the transforms again. You could also rotate it, it's another option. And just repeat. And you can create all kinds of unique square designs simply by just dragging and holding down the Alt Option key to duplicate. And you can see these layers applied there. And of course you can add additional effects if you wish. Once you're happy with the design, simply go to Layer and Flatten Image. And you've got your square patchwork, unusual design based on that gradient. But again, it could be a gradient, it could be multiple gradients, it could be pattern designs, it could be images, it could be type, it could be a variety of different designs, all then turned into this square patchwork-like design. And of course you can use this again. Simply, again, go to layer and duplicate layer and press 10 and then do exactly the same. Resize it and again press return, make certain you do that. Go to filter and again go down to distort and wave and apply the effect. And you can create all kinds of unique designs using that approach. Or hold down the Alt Option key and duplicate that. And you can see the sort of patchwork designs you can create. Millions of different possible designs using this approach. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Any questions, please let me know in the comments below. A like or dislike, always great. Thank you much.